driven to win. I am driven. I am driven to win. No matter what has came up against me, I will take a stand. I will believe in who I was created to be. See, the world tried to take me out, but God said I got a plan and a purpose for your life. So now I must fight. I must continue to win. No matter what I come up against, I defy all odds. I change my narrative because I have the power to win. I am driven. I am driven by purpose. I am driven. Sisters and brothers, kings and queens, stand up and fight. Never lose sight of what's in front of you because you have so much work to do. Stand up and say, I am driven. I am driven to win. I am driven.
Breakthrough Awaits is an empowerment journal for women who want to finally achieve the life they've always dreamed of. If you feel stuck in a system that keeps you from actualizing your potential, there is a higher level of living available to you on the other side of your breakthrough. This book will help you gain the necessary tools you need to walk in your truth, discover your untapped potential, and overcome your obstacles. You will learn how your experiences can impact how you perceive yourself and those around you. When you aren't afraid to be authentic, you help transform the lives of those you've been chosen to impact. Breakthrough awaits. Order your copy of Breakthrough Awaits today at TereseTeasley.com.
Hello, welcome to the T. Nicole Show. I want to say welcome. It is a pleasure and an honor to have you here with us today. And I would like for you to welcome our special guest. He is a native of Houston, Texas. But before I bring him on, I want you guys to do me a favor. Make sure you like this video, share this video, tag somebody in this video because you guys are in for a special treat. And so I have my friend again, Mr. Lewis. He is all the way from Houston, Texas. And so I'm going to bring him to the stage. And again, this is T. Nicole, and we are on the Driven Show. And I'm just so excited. We got a couple shows going on at once, but I am your host, T. Nicole. I'm T. Nicole coming straight out of Pontiac, Michigan, and I am your host with the most. And so this is a place where you can come be yourself, allow your drive to take you very far into the places that you need to go. And so I want you guys to get comfortable. I want you to take off all the masks. I want you to let your hair down and be your authentic self. But just know this is a place for you to be who you are, tell your story. You can be a business owner. You can be somebody that just want to get your message out. And we will be showing up globally. So it doesn't matter if you are local, far, or here. We would love to have you on the show. Thank you guys for tuning in to the Driven Show with your host, T. Nicole. Hello. Good
Hi,
evening.
how are you? It's so good to be here, T. I'm elated to be here, to be back with you.
Oh my goodness, I'm so glad to have you. So I was telling my audience, I was like, we got an amazing brother here all the way from Houston, Texas. So I want
H-Town already.
listen, H-Town. So I want you to do me a favor and introduce yourself to the audience so they can know exactly who you are.
Awesome. Well, I am a person of many hats, many names, many, things, purposes, if you will. My name is Davion Lewis. I am a chef, first and foremost, by trade and by nature. I'm also someone who is passionate about people. People are my purpose. Servitude is my purpose. I'm also a minister as well. So I minister at the Lifestyle of Christ Church in Pearland, Texas, as well as the name of my business is Counselor's Kitchen. So it's just the place where food is therapy and the kitchen table is safety. That's what I believe. That's what I've always believed. And so I'm very, very driven, right, to get people back in, not only in the kitchen, but to the kitchen table, and make that a safe space for all of us. So that's what I do. That's a little bit briefly about me. Again, I'm from Houston, and I'm born and raised, been here all my life. And like I said, I just love all things that have to do with people and blessing people. So that's a little bit about me.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So, first of all, I want to say welcome to the show again because it is a
Mm,
blessing to have you here. And I know that you are all the way from Houston, and it's amazing how you and I connected because you
yeah,
actually had me on your show. And that was an experience in itself. And so I just want to say, like I said, thank you for joining us because you didn't have to be here, but I wanted you to meet my audience because you have so much substance, you have so much value, and people need to know who you
bless God.
are. Yeah, praise God. But
Hmm.
people need to know who you are because you are a man of many talents, and I love that about you.
Well, bless you. Like I said, I appreciate you being on my show, engaging with my audience as well.
Hmm.
You know, for me, it's all about people and people being blessed. I always say that my audience is one,
Hmm.
but my desire is for to be heard by one, meaning that I'm only entertaining God. That as long as He's pleased with me, I'm good.
Hmm.
But my desire is that at least one person can hear what's being said at all times.
Hmm.
Um, and the word from me says that faith comes by hearing and hearing by the word of God. So everything I speak, everything I talk about, my whole life is centered around God, His word, and blessing others. So when I speak, hopefully I'm engaging someone's ear and they're growing in their faith level to know that they can rise up, they can do things, they're complete, they're whole within their being. So that's really what it's all about for me. That's what the podcast is all about. So I appreciate you coming on and sharing your story so that just one person, at least just one person, can hear something and be transformed in their mind about what it is that they may be facing. So thank you.
Ooh, you just said something. You just spoke power. You said so they can be transformed, so they can be transformed. And so I got something because you mentioned that you are a chef, you cook,
Yes.
and so I believe in soul food. And I feel like because they're eating the natural food,
Hmm.
you're also speaking to the soul, the spirit, the spirit. You're
Yes.
speaking to the spirit. So can you talk about that? Because you said the name of your podcast and what you all about is the counselor's kitchen. So can you talk a
Yes.
little bit more about the counselor's kitchen?
All right. So the Counselor's Kitchen is an entity that's all about food, right? There's a duality to the name, um, and so people often ask me, are you a counselor? Are you? I'm not a licensed counselor. I'm not a clinical psychologist. What I am is, though, is I'm a study of the Word of God, and the Word of God and the Spirit of God is a counselor. So I'm always led by Him. I'm always inclined to, when I speak to people, yield myself to the Spirit. So it's never me that's speaking anyway when I'm speaking to people in that manner. So the duality behind the Counselor's Kitchen, number one, is the belief that food is therapy. So what does that mean? Food is the only thing that literally can affect us physically, spiritually, and emotionally, right?
Mm-hmm.
Soulishly, mentally, all of those things like that. Food literally does that. What you eat when you wake up in the morning literally can alter your entire day. It can tell the signs of your mood. It can
Mm-hmm.
make you drowsy or weary if you're eating the wrong things, or it can give you strength and nourishment. It can empower you. So it food literally can affect us in multiple ways other than just our humanity, right? So it's important to have not only good food, but food that's good for you. So food is therapy. Food literally is that. That's what it is. When we intake. And
Mm-hmm.
whatever we're intaking, when they say you are what you eat, It's very, very true. So you
Yes.
have to be careful about what you eat, how you eat it, and that sort of thing. I'm on a great path in and of my own because maybe about 6 years ago, I was about 95 pounds heavier.
Mm.
So it took a lot for me to change my mind about what I eat, and not just what I eat, but how much. So food literally is a therapy thing. It literally transgresses in your mind, your spirit, your body, and all things. So what you eat is important. And then the second part of my mission statement is, "And the kitchen table is safety." Um, it's something we've gotten away from.
Mm-hmm.
So I created the element, the counselor's kitchen table, which is the podcast element of my business. So the food element, of course, is the counselor's kitchen. The counselor's kitchen table podcast is literally just that. Again, if food is therapy, right, then I'm somewhat of a therapist as a chef, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I kind of approach my job, that what I'm serving will ultimately affect someone. So I need to make sure it's a good experience every time I serve them, right? Uh,
Yes.
so with that in mind, getting to the kitchen table, at some point in time in life, it was all about talking. It was all about uh, you did your bookkeeping at the kitchen table. You balanced your checks at the kitchen table. You budgeted your groceries and bills at the kitchen table. But you also had conversations with your children at the kitchen table. You
Mm-hmm.
worked things out at the kitchen table. If there was a
Ooh.
disagreement in the household, you sat at the
Mm-hmm.
kitchen table and talked it out. And we've gotten so far from that as a society that I
Mm-hmm.
believe it's the element that poisons us and plagues us in our plight to find some sort of morality in these days. And so, with that in mind, my aim is to get people back to the kitchen table. And I'm going to tell you right now, I know it's a dangerous mission.
Yes. Yes.
It's by design that there are literally things that are set up to keep us distracted and keep us away
Mhm.
from the kitchen table. As a matter of fact, they don't even build apartments with dining rooms anymore.
Hold on, you better listen. Hold on, let me come from the background because on side of you right quick because you're speaking and you're dropping so many jewels, and I hope that the audience is paying attention to what's being said because it's he said they have apartments that don't even have dining rooms in it. And I got out of that message when he was saying all of these different things that you could do at the table. You basically raised your family at the table. You talk to the
Yes.
family at the table. The
Mhm.
parents was at the table, the grandparents was at the table along with the children.
Yes.
So it's like they're breaking it up. But he said, here, we're coming back to the kitchen table and we're going to make sure that we're pouring and speaking life back into the family at
Yeah.
the table. And it's
Mhm.
not that you just getting food, but you could actually, it was like they will host family meetings at the
Yeah.
table. You
Absolutely.
hear me? Family
Mhm.
meetings. So how is that like for you? Like, so when you have people come to the table, have
Yes.
you ever sat down with a whole entire family, whether that was your family, your friends' family? Like, has that been something that you've done recently to bring people to the table?
In a physical manner, no. I
Okay.
I I have missions in life, right? And
Hmm.
some of my missions as far as my business and nonprofits and things like that are concerned. That's one of my goals. That's one of my missions is to literally go into homes,
Hmm.
cook with families, and then the caveat to that is you have to sit at the kitchen table. You have to come together, sit at the kitchen table, no cell phones, and talk and engage with one another as you're sitting over a meal that's therapeutic, right? A meal
Hmm.
that's meant to nourish not only your mind, not only your body, but your soul as well. So, with that in mind, that's my mission in life because it's such a lacking area. When I grew up initially, and I grew up in the late '90s, early 2000s, so I saw that shift. I saw that change in technology. I lived that. I saw our family go from sitting at the table every day for dinner, at least us as kids, right? Uh, and I saw that shift and change to everybody in their room or everybody in the living room or, just scattered. I saw that in my own family that we got scattered by the technology, by movies, by different, scenarios. And with that in mind, I saw how it changed my family. And so
Hmm.
as I grew older, as a child, I'm not in that moment, empowered in that moment enough to know that I can speak that. But reflecting on it as an adult, I made that my mission, not only to bring families together, but when I'm fortunate enough to have a family of my own someday, that's the standard. That's
Mm-hmm.
just the standard. No matter what's going on, we're gonna sit down and have a meal together.
Mm. And you set the example, you set the stage, because you said something. You said you knew that it might be a hard job to do, but you're gonna make sure it get done. But
Yes.
you have to be the example. So you go, like, even with me and my mission, it's like
Mm-hmm.
I'm healing old wounds, I'm breaking generational curses, and it's not easy,
Yeah.
but I was willing to be put on display before I even got here. So that's a whole nother story. But when you find out who you are in God, when you find
Mm-hmm.
out that we all have a purpose and an assignment, you willing
Mm-hmm.
to go all out, no matter what it costs, no matter
Yeah.
what the price is. So
Absolutely.
I'm proud.
And I say this one little thing, and then of course we'll get to the next line of questioning. But
Hmm.
it really hit home for me recently because I was displaced from my home. I was staying with a friend for a little bit while my home was getting taken care of and things of that nature. And you know, it's a family, right? And
Hmm.
so I always sit at the table when I eat, typically. And my friend, she said, I really want to thank you because uh, it just seems like when we eat together,
Hmm.
things just seem to get a little bit better. Things just feel different when we're
Hmm.
all eating together. And she said, if it's not for you just simply sitting at the table, that's literally, I'm not inviting you. I'm not saying, hey, come sit with, none of that. It's just, that's what I do. I go to the table, I sit down, I eat. And
Hmm.
just me doing that, and then the engagement coming in, questions, how's your day, little one, how's your, just kind of general conversation. That little bit of time
Hmm.
being set aside for the family to connect.
Mm.
She said it overwhelmingly. I thank you for that because that's made a difference in my household in a very short amount of time. So it works. It's
Hmm.
real. It works, and I'm on a mission to show people that it works and help people through it. And again, regardless of what the conversation has to be, regardless of what you're coming to the table for, my mission statement is that the kitchen table is safety. That's what it's designed for. The dining room area, the kitchen table is designed for a safe space, a safe haven where things get done,
Hmm.
right? The kitchen is a place of preparation, but the kitchen table is a place where things happen, where things get done. So that's what I'm encouraging, and that's what I'm all about, and what I promote for my company.
And I love it. So thank you for that. And I hope you guys are taking these jewels and listening to what he's saying, because he's setting the tone. He raising the bar. He did not just come to go to work. He's doing kingdom work. He is on an
Yes,
assignment. That's why I say we're driven. When I say anybody that comes on this platform, they're driven by their purpose, because
yeah,
you have a major purpose. You have been given charge to help so many all around the world. And I love the fact that you are obedient and you are winning in this season. So
yes,
I thank you for that.
I
And
appreciate
so
it.
you're welcome. You're welcome. So I do want to say something. So you mentioned that you are a minister, and then I know you do the counselor's kitchen. So do you do a podcast as well? Because I don't remember you mentioning that, but you may
Yes.
have.
Yes, I did. I talked about just the duality of my company, but I'll further in that. So I do have a podcast. You were a
Hmm.
guest on it, so I appreciate you coming through.
Hmm.
But that podcast is the Counselor's Kitchen Table podcast. And it was a long name, but
Mhm,
it's meant to stand out. So the Counselor's Kitchen, of course, is the element of food. The podcast is all about coming to the table. So I
mhm,
have guests in. They come to the table, and the consensus of the podcast is everyday people helping everyday people through the power of their story. So that's literally what the description of the podcast is. So I love to have everyday people in. If you have a story, I want to hear it, and I want to hear it in truth, and I want to hear it in love, and I want to hear how it has changed your life. And with uh, with that in mind, I've had a pretty decently good life, overall. I wouldn't say that I had to have gone through crazy major struggles. I have had personal and interpersonal struggles that I've had to overcome and deal with, but I haven't gone through molestation or sexual assault. I haven't gone through drug addictions. I haven't gone through a lot of other powerful things that people, have gone through. But I've learned from all of those different kinds of scenarios and stories through people connecting with people, networking, getting their stories. So I believe that regardless if you go through the situation or not, there's always something that is a jewel, that's a nugget for you to receive. And so I've received so much from so many different people, and that's helped build my wisdom, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I operate in. So because of that, I always want to employ that same mentality for the people that I engage with as far as an audience is concerned, because I literally, it's my ultimate goal is to bless someone. If it's just one person listening, that's it.
That's
It's
it.
just one person that can get something out of that story. I'm
Mm-hmm.
satisfied. Uh,
Mm.
and like I said before, my audience is one. I only aim to please one person or one entity. That's God. But as long as He's pleased, I'm satisfied. As long as somebody has heard something, I'm satisfied. So that's always the goal of each episode. But I love my podcast. So it's
Nice.
my little baby, and I make sure to do a lot of work to keep it honest, keep it real, to keep
Mm-hmm.
it relatable for people to engage.
Mm-hmm. So, how can our audience be a part of your podcast?
Absolutely. I have an email, the counselor's kitchen or counselor's kitchen at gmail.com. You can email me if you would like to be a part of it. The community it is, I have a YouTube platform, so the counselor's kitchen, my YouTube channel, as well as Apple, Spotify, pretty much anywhere you can find podcasts, Google, anywhere where podcasts are available, you can hit it up. It's a Counselor's Kitchen Table podcast. We talk about everything in life, everything life has to offer. That's what we talk about. So there's something for you there.
Mhm. And all of the information will be in the chat. So make sure you guys click and connect to him as soon as possible because he would love to have you on the podcast, but not just have you on the podcast, listen to the
Oh yeah.
podcast, right?
Yes, and I want to say this a little bit about the podcast is
Mm-hmm.
that we're on our third season. We're actually currently in our third season, recording and doing episodes to be released. We premiered our third season though on Valentine's Day with Judge Lynn Toller, so I was very excited about that. She's an amazing woman. You got to check that episode out. But season one is all about topics,
Mm-hmm.
and the entire season is really designed for the family. So we have something for parents, we have something for children, we have something for every dynamic of the family, husband, wife, all that kind of thing. So that's what it's about. But season two is where we begin to tell stories, and so all of the people that were on season two, I'm just overjoyed about, because all of them had such a unique story, their own story, and it
Mm-hmm.
really, really did bless people. As a matter of fact, T, you don't know this, but I have a gentleman that's coming on this season, and he went through a similar experience as you. And he said, because I heard her episode and her say it, I felt liberated to tell my story and tell it that it happens to me. So I just wanted to let you know that publicly, that when I say if it's not just one person listening, that's all that matters. Now I've gotten more feedback than that, but it
Mm-hmm.
really, really blesses me because he's very, very
Mm-hmm.
passionate about getting his message out simply because he heard you say what you said on your, and he said, and it happened to me just like
Listen, see why you gotta come on my show trying to make me cry? Y'all see that?
my bad, my bad, my
No,
bad.
it's okay. But it's amazing because my message is just to be that beacon of light to help
Yes,
other people tell their story because we
yes,
got so many people that have experienced sexual abuse, molestation, or incest, and they have not came out because they
yeah,
are afraid, and they got people that are already in the grave that's still holding them hostage. But I want to create this atmosphere, and that's why I tell the story, because I need you to know that you are healed. You are not a
Mm.
victim. Even though you went through the experience, that's all
Yeah.
it was. But that stuff cannot hold you hostage. So for anybody to watch that, if you have not seen episode or his season 2, please go to season 2, and I'm going to make sure I put it on the page so
Yeah.
that way you can get an understanding of my story, but not just my story, but what he does exactly, because his podcast is amazing. And I just wanted to make sure he went back and talked about it, because I need y'all to know it's a place, it's a space for everybody to feel comfortable. Like
Yeah.
whether it's here, whether it's there, wherever it is, you can go connect to anybody that can help you. And we're helping you from a genuine place. We don't want you to hurt no
Mhm.
farther, but we're going to tell you what God has given to us, how God has brought us out of some things, or even just because he's like giving us this wisdom to be able to have these platforms for you guys. It's not even
Mhm.
about us, but because he knew that we were bold enough and brave enough to talk, he like, I'm gonna give you this, so you got to use it to your glory, or not to your glory, but for his glory. But
Mhm.
he's giving it to us so we can help people tell their story, so they can feel safe. And we do not ever want to hurt you, and we won't hurt you, because we know it's value. Like, you are valuable, and we already know you are fragile.
Yes.
Some of you still are in that place. And so I know what it's like to have to make yourself vulnerable to tell the story. So that's enough for me. But I just had to get that off my
Yeah.
chest. So I want people to know about your clubhouse experience for the counselor's kitchen, because that's the one that I need all of my viewers to go to so they can tap into that.
Well, thank you. Yes, so I am new Apple product user, right?
Mhm.
And I it took me a long time to switch over. I was Samsung forever, but I finally got me an iPhone a couple of years ago, and it was like, all right, well, so I created the Clubhouse platform as a way to live interact and engage because my podcasts are pre-recorded, and I do editing and I do all of the hard work for it. So when I say this company is my baby, the podcast is my baby, I'm hands on to the very last detail, flyers and all. So um, I wanted to do something to where I can gauge with people a little bit better. Now, mind you, all of my podcasts, they have polls and things like that. You can gauge, you can comment, all that good stuff. But I wanted to be able to engage in real time with real people, because although I have real and genuine people on my show, it's one thing that, be able to have that conversation, but it's another thing when you're able to engage with people in real time. And
Mhm.
so it's called the Counselor's Kitchen. That I think that's the name of the club, the Council's Kitchen. And you'll see, the picture and logo and all that kind of stuff. You can identify it that way. But we have a Monday night and a Wednesday night platform. So the Monday night is called Mental Health Reset. And it is our beginning of the week opportunity to come in, unwind, talk about what the last week has brought us, taught us, whatever, our ups and downs, where we are in life in the moment. And then it's also an opportunity for us to encourage one another. The replays are also confidentiality is complete. You can say whatever you need to say, have a moment, and we're there to encourage you together as a community. So we do this as a community. Of course, I lead the conversations, but it's really literally designed to be a community that encourages each other through life, right? And
Mhm.
then at the end of that, I give what I call a weekly reminder. So that weekly reminder is something that I've written personally to myself based off of where I am in life personally. And I've been doing this since January, the weekly reminder thing for myself personally. I never shared it with others, but as I talk to people all the time. I minister all the time to people, give advice, whatever. And I just felt more and more led to share that with people as I would hear things, and I'm like, okay, I just wrote that through. And
Mhm.
so we talk about my weekly reminder that I write to myself. I share it with everyone. We talk about it, and then of course I challenge everyone to do the same. Try to help themselves get through it. And then our Wednesday night platform is actually all about recapping and refreshing. So what I do is I typically take an episode from podcast past or some type of topic that we've talked about as far as the podcast is concerned, and I just recap and refresh it. Typically, I play small video clips, link the full episode in the description, and then we just kind of talk about topical things, anything from love and relationships to anything that anybody has been through in the podcast. We talk about it and kind of get a little bit more perspective on it. And it's my way of engaging with the audience, the listeners, to know what their opinions, their thoughts are as far as that topic is concerned. So that one is a little bit more broader, but a little something for everybody. So far we're only 2 nights a week. 7:15 Central Standard Time is when we're on, and it's a small community, but it's a growing community, and it literally is all about you guys. So it's my chance to get to know people and discuss with people. Like last night, we had a young lady in. She was from the UK, and it was about maybe 6 or 7 of us in the room at the time when she came in, because she came on a tail end. Right.
Mhm.
Normally, I try to do about an hour and a half engagement. We literally talked to this young lady for about another hour and a half. Additionally, we were like on the podcast. I mean, we were on Clubhouse for like 3 hours total.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
we talked to this young lady for an hour and a half additionally. Also, so just encouraging her. I mean, she just was pouring out just all her different issues in life and the things that she's been facing, and just everything. And we just encouraged her through it all. We listened to her and encouraged her through it all. And she contacted me today and said, I am reevaluating my entire life because I felt heard, for the first time in a long time, that sort of thing. So I appreciate those kind of things. That's why I do this.
Mm. That's truly a blessing. I
Yes, it
thank you.
is.
I thank you for creating that platform, and it's actually encouraging me to
Yeah.
go ahead and create the platform, because it's like me, I have a platform that's
Mm-hmm.
right here, but to be able to be on Clubhouse,
Yeah.
I'm going to create the platform, because
Do it.
I love being on your platform, and I don't always get a chance to get on there because I'm
Mm-hmm.
doing a lot of different things, being that I just relocated, and it's just it's amazing. But
Yeah.
thank you for holding that safe space. And so I'm about to get ready to connect with you on another level, because
Yes,
I want
yes,
to
yes.
continue to grow, and I feel like you are my purpose pusher, because you be pushing me to do things, step out on faith as well. And so I thank you for this interview,
Yes.
but I want everybody to get a clip so they can know more about your podcast. So hold on, I want to share a little something with our audience. This is from our special sponsor, the Counselor's Kitchen. So y'all, hold on 1 second, guys.
Hello there, and welcome to the Counselor's Kitchen, where the food is therapy and the kitchen table is safety. We want to have a conversation today, so we've got just the spot for you right here at the kitchen table, where we talk about life and everything it has to offer. So pull up a seat and join the conversation right here at the Counselor's Kitchen table.
Yeah, be sure to check out my brother
Yes,
very
thank
soon.
you.
I know y'all don't see me, but I wanted to come and tell you guys to check out my brother very soon, because I love the work that he is doing. But I want to know something. Can you
Yes.
please, do you have anything that you would like to tell our viewers before we go? Anything, any words of encouragement, and how to find you again on all social media?
Yes, absolutely. The word of God says, "Let your light so shine before men."
Okay. And so we're gonna let him come back in a moment. People just love to say what they gotta say. We love them. We love them. Tell them we love them. It's okay.
Amen. All right, I'm back now. Okay, but the Bible says, "Let your light so shine before men, that they may see your good works, and that you may glorify your Father who's in heaven." And I think that a lot of times, especially in today's climate, people want to be seen, right? They want to be known. A lot of people seek to be famous, right? And um, what that word is an equation. And so oftentimes I think about how sometimes we've gone through things in life. And if you really think about our light, right, it starts off as a little flame, a candle, right? If you go through something in life and that candle is blown out, there's no light. So we have a lot of people that are chasing what light yields in darkness. Their lights are off. And I just want to encourage all those who are listening to make sure uh, you're more like Motel 6, where they leave the light on for you, right? Make sure your lights are on before you begin to chase what light brings, because light attracts. And that's literally what that verse is saying, that light is going to do what light does. You just make sure that you give God his glory when light does what it does. And so this ministry is all about him. I leave my light on so that people can see me. And when they see me, I have an opportunity to say, no, you're not seeing me, you're seeing him. And so for anybody who's looking to grow, right? Looking to grow in their influence, looking to grow in, because I know what we see. We see a lot of wickedness and craziness that's out there, and it seems like it's getting the light, but it's not getting the light. There's a difference between the light shining, right, and the house burning, right? People are attracted to fires as well. It gives off light, but it's not the same kind of light. Right. So if you see a car on the freeway and it's a fire, you're gonna look. If you see if you drive past a house and it's burning, you're gonna stop and look. You're not looking for the same reason that the light of the Lord is in you. When the light of the Lord is in you, that's a light not only that you can't look away from, but that's a light that's gonna forever draw people to you. And so that's what I do this for. I do this for him. And just be sure that your light is on before you do anything, before men, before people, right? Because so many times people want to be of influence. They want to be in people's faces. They want to be TikTok famous. They want to be viral. They want to be all of these things, but the lights are off.
The lights are off.
So not only can people not see you, but you can't see you because you can't navigate in anything in darkness. So make sure your lights are on before you decide to do anything. It's great to say I have something, or I'm gifted, or I'm anointed, or whatever, right? It's great to say that. It's great to feel that and know that. But it's different when the light is on because you can navigate it a whole lot better. So that's what I want to encourage people with. Just make sure your light is on. It's going to do what it's designed to do, I promise.
You something amazing. You something amazing. You
Bless God.
something amazing.
It's
God, but he's using you. And I thank you for being obedient. How can our audience, how can they support you? How can they find you again on social media?
yeah, so Counselor's Kitchen everywhere, Facebook, Twitter, all that good stuff. Okay.
Sorry, I apologize.
You good. The Counselor's Kitchen everywhere. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, everything. The Counselor's Kitchen on Clubhouse. Again, I'm there Mondays and Wednesdays, 7:15 Central Time. My podcast releases weekly. Will actually be releasing next month, the continuation of season 3. I wanted to give episode 1 some running room because it's powerful. So, and also check out T's episode as well. That's season 2, I believe, episode 2. So yeah, that's on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, anything podcast you can find it on. So I'm so blessed and happy to have been here, and thank you for giving me this opportunity to connect again with you.
Yes,
Always a pleasure.
listen, I love you. I love you to life. Yes, and I'm so glad that we can do this. And I look forward to talking to you very soon. And my audience, I want y'all to make sure y'all connect with him because he cooks. Didn't y'all hear that? That was the first part. You heard that he cooks, but he has a podcast too, and you can meet him on Clubhouse. But get that food because listen, now I'm in Texas. I'm finna get some food as soon
Yeah.
as I can. He's gonna make me a plate. Matter of
Yes.
fact, we're gonna do a week meal. Don't worry about it, guys,
That's
because
right.
he's a vegan. He cooks vegan too, so
Good.
I'm excited. Yeah, hallelujah.
Yes. Very excited too. So thanks again.
You're welcome. This has been an amazing evening. And so, guys, remember to join us every Wednesday at the same time, at the same place. We're going to have another amazing guest soon. But right now, we want to give honor where honor is due. And we want to just thank Mr. Lewis for joining us on today, the
Thank,
Counselor's Kitchen.
thank
And
you
so,
so much.
you're welcome. So I hope you have an amazing evening and I look forward to talking to you soon.
Absolutely. Thanks again. And guys, just go and be great because you already are. That's
Yeah.
what I always say.
Yeah. All right. Bye, guys. See y'all
Bye.
next week.